should be measuring and calculating your carbs in your cooked rice so that you don't screw it up and you can achieve your goals. Stick around to the end, and I'll have a chart in the description of cooked weight to how many grams that actually is of carbs, and that way you'll be all set with it. So stick around. So you hear about bodybuilders who are eating 400 grams of carbs per day. Well, 400 grams of carbs per day is actually net 100 grams of carbs per day. So if they're actually eating 400 grams of carbs, you have to take that 400 grams, multiply that by 4 if you want to get actual 400 grams of net carbs. So that 400 times 4 is 1,600 calories. So as you can see, if you're trying to grow and you think you're going to grow on 400 grams of net weight carbs, you're way under eating. And I find that a lot of guys think that they're eating enough when in actuality they're way under eating. So if you want to get 400 grams of carbs, that's going to be 1,600 grams of cooked weight. So keep that in mind so that you can achieve your goals. On the other side, if people are dieting, they like to use a number like I'm only eating 150 grams of carbs per day. Well, if you're only eating 150 grams of cooked weight carbs, you're going to be way under eating. You're going to sabotage your diet. You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel like shit because that's just not enough carbs. You need to be eating 600 grams of cooked weight so that you can achieve that 150 grams of carbs. 150 grams of cooked weight of carbs throughout the day, you're going to find real fast that you have no energy and you might as well just go keto because you're not going to be getting really any measurable amount of carbs, and your performance at the gym is definitely going to suffer. So remember, if you want 150 grams of net carbs, you got to eat 600 grams weight. So 600 grams, divide that by 6, is going to give you 25 grams of carbs per meal. That's more doable than trying to eat 150 grams of cooked weight of carbs. So as you can see, it's important to measure properly because you are going to have to keep track and be specific on what you're doing. There is no room for error, especially when dieting, but when you're trying to bulk up, there's no room for error either. You got to eat enough. All right, so real quick, here is the scale. Here is a measuring cup. I use the measuring cup to put the rice into the bowl. Let me grab a bowl. So you put your bowl on. You tear it. You switch to grams. I know a lot of people like to say 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of sweet potato. That's not the way I do it. That's fine if you can be accurate that way. But I find the easiest way, the most precise way, is to use your measuring cup to scoop your rice out. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop a cup of rice. Oh, it went out. Hold on. Go to grams. So, cup of rice. That's 100 grams of rice. That's not a lot. That's basically just 25 grams of rice. So some people will say a cup of rice is 150 grams. Well, there's bias in that depending on who's measuring, who's filling the cup. If it's somebody who has no control of their diet, they're going to probably put more. If it's somebody who is anal, they're probably going to put less. So just use the cup. So if I'm trying to get 50 grams of carbs, I've got to measure. Right now I'm at 100. So that's actually going to come out. So that's 190. And 200. So as you can see, I filled the cup twice to get 200 grams, which gave me 50 grams of net carbs. So that's what you're after. You want to be specific, you want to be precise. Might as well leave it in there because I'm due for a meal here in a little bit. Right now, I'm eating about 50 grams of carbs per meal. And post-workout, I'm eating 75 grams along with a post-workout shake that has probably about 25 grams of sugar in it. So that gives me post-workout 100 grams of sugar. White rice is fast digesting, they say. If you eat it with fat and protein, it's probably not as fast as you think. But that 25 grams of sugar is definitely getting right into the bloodstream right away. So that's just right now where I'm at. You need to calculate and figure that out. If you have a coach, maybe they're doing that for you. But the premise of today's video is to let you see that this is something that you have to be precise with, because too many people just, they just go through the motions and they just measure things, but they're not really measuring. So if I have a client come to me and I set up a nutrition plan for them, the most important thing that I can teach them right away is how to measure their shit. Because if they don't know how to measure, they're going to be all over the place. And if they're trying to lose weight, trying to lose body fat, they're going to come back to me and say, oh, nothing's happening. And then when I really look at it, I realize, well, you're not measuring properly. You're overeating. Or if it's a guy who's trying to bulk up, he's trying to gain some muscle, and I see what he's doing. So I try to eliminate that right from the start and show people this is how you measure. And the same holds true for your protein, same holds true for your fats. So other carb sources that are popular, oatmeal, potato, sweet potato, those things are, you need to be precise in your measurements so you know where you are. You don't actually have to count calories on the daily. You just really need to be aware of your macros per meal. Once you're doing that over time, then you can make adjustments, because it's really anal to count calories on the daily. It's probably better for you to just make sure you're hitting your macros, and then your calories are going to take care of themselves. That's one of the things that people, they get too deep into the weeds in, is on calories. Calories count, but just think, if you cut back carbs, you cut back protein, you cut back fat, you're cutting calories. You add to those, you're adding calories. That's how simple it is. You got to keep the macros consistent and then add to those macros. That's what you're after, and that's how you're going to achieve those goals. So hopefully this video helped, gave you a little clarity, because you'd be surprised at how many people don't know how many carbs are in cooked rice, and they're just shooting in the dark. They have no idea. Talk to somebody and ask them how many grams of carbs are in cooked rice. I guarantee you'll get 5 different answers. Brown rice, if you want to split hairs, is going to be just slightly less because of the fiber in the rice, but it's really negligible. Rice is rice. Jasmine, basmati, just straight up white rice. All of these rices have about the same amount of net carbs after cooked weight. So keep that in mind. Description below. If you need a coach, if you have any questions, you want to comment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video, and I appreciate you watching this one.